Hello and welcome. In 2023, 18-inch laptops have made a big splash. They promise to be true desktop replacements, and with significant tech advancements in both CPU and GPU this year, this is an exciting time to look at these machines. But are these machines delivering on this promise, and what is the overall value proposition? Are they able to serve as desktop replacements, and do they have enough power to handle pretty much anything you could throw at them? That would include any task from just web surfing, media consumption, and of course gaming. Well, in this video, I'll share my thoughts after reviewing 3 such laptops. I'll discuss which brands have brought 18-inch options this year. We'll take a brief look at each of the 3 units that I've reviewed. And by the way, I've done comprehensive reviews of each of these laptops separately on my channel. Be sure to check those out for an in-depth look at various aspects of each laptop individually. I'll then give my thoughts on some aspects of these laptops. That'll include, of course, discussing display, CPU, and GPU performance. And I'll share some brief thoughts about gaming performance and developer workflow. Those are the 2 main reasons that I've explored 18-inch laptops this year, and I must say I've been pleasantly surprised. Be sure to stick around till the end when I share my winner for the 18-inch laptop for early 2023. But enough, let's jump into the juicy details. Thus far, Acer, Alienware, ASUS, and Razer have announced 18-inch laptops, of which the latter 3 are now available on the market. The contenders in this video are 2023 Razer Blade 18, 2023 ASUS ROG Strix G18, and making a comeback to the 18-inch laptop category after more than a decade, 2023 Alienware M18 R1. Displays. Let's begin with the stars of the show, those gorgeous 18-inch displays. The 2023 ASUS ROG Strix G18 and the 2023 Razer Blade 18, which I'll refer to simply as the Strix G18 and Blade 18 for the remainder of this video, both come equipped with, get ready for this, 18-inch Quad HD Plus 2560 by 1600 16:10 aspect ratio, 240 Hz refresh rate, 500 nits, 3 millisecond response time displays. Only one word sums up both of the displays on these devices: stunning. You have to see them to believe. The Alienware differs slightly, and while still 18 inches, it runs at a 165 Hz refresh rate. Still no slouch, and an excellent display. CPU. All 3 laptops come equipped with the Intel 13th generation Raptor Lake i9 HX processors. All of the processors tested have 24 cores and 32 threads. They differ only in the max turbo boost and the RAM speed supported, with i9 13980HX and the i9 13950HX supporting the faster 5600 MHz DDR5 RAM, while the i9 13900HX sticks to 4800 MHz. More on that later. At the top of the charts and the top of the CPU stack for Intel's 13th generation mobile processors for 2023 is the 13980HX featured in the Strix G18. This CPU boosts up to 5.6 GHz. Up next is the i9 13950HX featured in the Blade 18. This CPU's clock is up to 5.5 GHz. And finally, further down the stack is the i9 13900HX featured in the M18 R1. This CPU's boost clock is rated for 5.4 GHz. In daily use, these processors are snappy, with little lag to speak of, and you will not notice any performance issues whatsoever. They're capable of sustained CPU-only workloads at well over 5 GHz clock speeds on all cores, at power levels of around 120 watts. They can max out at 157 watts, but then quickly drop down to a sustained level of 120 watts. CPU-wise, with these new Intel 13th generation mobile parts, you'll be set for years to come. GPU. This year, NVIDIA has segmented its laptop GPU offerings into 2 camps. There are the 4000 series mainstream laptops, including the 4050, the RTX 4060, and the RTX 4070. The other segment is the flagship laptops, including the RTX 4080 and the RTX 4090. To summarize that there is a significant performance difference between these 2 camps would be an understatement. This year, more than ever, it's important to do your research and find the GPU that can hit your desired and targeted gameplay goals before investing. The Blade 18 features the RTX 4060 with 8GB of VRAM. New for this year, the 4060 gains a bump up in VRAM to 8GB from 6GB on the 3060. The Strix G18 features the RTX 4070, also with 8GB of VRAM. The power target defined for the RTX 4060 and 4070 is 115 watts. If you include 25 watts of dynamic boost, then a total max TGP of 140 watts for both GPUs. But keep in mind that this will vary highly based on laptop manufacturer's implementation, the device, the cooling system, etc. The M18 R1 features the RTX 4080 flagship laptop GPU with 12GB of VRAM. Its power targets are also at flagship levels with 150 watts plus dynamic boost of 25 watts for a max TGP of 175 watts. Since the flagship laptop GPUs usually appear in heavier and much bulkier devices, you'll find lots of models that can max out that TGP and thus performance they deliver. Performance with the RTX 4060 and 4070 is a mixed bag. They seem to be hitting a voltage limit of 1 volt, which means they're realistically only delivering 90 to 100 watts of power in the Blade 18 and Strix G18 in my testing. The RTX 4080 on the other hand consistently delivers on the max TGP, and I've demonstrated in numerous games power levels of 175 watts. Go check out the tons of gameplay videos and performance testing I've done in various games on my channel. When deciding amongst these GPUs, I would say if you're looking for a true laptop replacement, and as that is the focus of this video, you should disregard the mainstream GPU offerings and look at the RTX 4080 and the RTX 4090 as your options. You'll also need to consider that I've tested everything at that native Quad HD Plus resolutions of these displays. That's 2560 by 1600 pixels. Compared to 1080p, this is a lot more pixels already, so not every game can hit triple digits even with these powerful GPUs, especially with everything cranked to ultra. But with a bit of tuning, you should be able to, at the minimum, lock any game from the past 5 years up until the newest AAA releases to 60 FPS for a smooth gameplay experience. Build quality. If you want a device that can take some abuse and keep working for a few years to come, then I'll say there is one clear winner, the M18 R1. Every single part of this laptop feels over-engineered, and you can just see and feel that it's built to last. Whether it does though, time will tell. Alienware is generally known for excellent build quality, so we'll have to see how well this holds true for their latest offering. Razer's up next with the beautiful and gorgeous CNC milled aluminum unibody design. It is stunning to look at and is the MacBook Pro of Windows laptops, hands down. I was very impressed and really enjoyed it being the most compact of the 3 devices. Although the metal body does absorb heat and can get very hot, I'm sure with the RTX 4090 offering, the Strix G18 with its plastic and metal mixed materials is a unique design and not for everyone. I don't think you'll have any issues with the build quality on this device though, but it certainly stands apart from the other 2 offerings. Ports. If you're looking to be productive, and all of these laptops offer lots of ports including at least gigabit or 2.5 gigabit Ethernet with Thunderbolt 4 and a combination of USB Type-A and USB Type-C ports. Overall, however, if you're looking for the most ports, it's hands down the Alienware with the M18 R1. Razer is a close second thanks to a good selection and traditional port positioning towards the rear of the chassis near the hinge. And finally, the last would be the Strix G18. ASUS offers a decent selection, but a few more USB Type-A ports would have been nice. It only has 2, whereas both of the others provide 3 Type-A ports. The port's positioning is also well optimized on the Blade 18 and the M18 R1. The Strix G18 loses this one due to the ports being positioned close to the front of the chassis that would interfere with your mouse hand in daily use. Battery life. The Blade 18 and Strix G18 are equipped with 91 watt-hours and 90 watt-hours batteries respectively, though the Armory Crate on the Strix G18 offers better control over optimizations for battery usage, and in my heavy developer workflow, I saw 3 hours of runtime with the Blade and 4+ hours on the Strix G18. The M18 R1, despite being equipped with the largest battery at 99 watt-hours, also only delivered 3 hours of usage in my workflow. All of these devices support some form of fast charging and can bring up the battery levels very quickly. They also support USB-C charging at up to 100 watts of power delivery if you're in a pinch. Power adapters. There's a clear winner in this category, the Blade 18 with its 280 watt GaN power adapter. It's the thinnest, lightest, and most compact power adapter. The Strix G18 is next with a more typical offering, and the M18 R1 falls last with a literal brick of a power adapter at 330 watts of power. The X16 R1, being offered this year from Alienware, is available with a 330 watt GaN power adapter, which is a fraction of the size and weight. Perhaps Alienware will offer this later in the year as a separate buy. Size and weight. With 18-inch displays at the helm and all that CPU and GPU power, you weren't expecting a thin and light, were you? Well, you'd be right. These machines are hefty, although not as big of a deal if you're used to a 17-inch laptop or were considering one. The Strix G18 and Blade 18 are neck and neck for just shy of 7 pounds at 6.61 pounds and 6.81 pounds. That's an impressive feat, considering that the Blade 18 is a CNC milled all-metal aluminum body. The M18 R1 is a real backbreaker at 8.90 pounds. Buyer beware if you're planning on traveling often with this device. As for the size, the M18 R1 is also the largest device and does not fit in any standard 17-inch laptop bag. That means you'll be purchasing a new bag or a specifically designed one directly from Alienware. The Blade 18, being the smallest of the bunch in dimensions, may, and I repeat may, fit in some larger 17-inch laptop bags. The Strix G18 will be a struggle and will require a larger backpack. Keyboards. Hands down, the best keyboard if you're a typist or a mechanical keyboard enthusiast goes to the Cherry MX ultra low profile mechanical keyboard on the M18 R1. I've immensely enjoyed my time with this keyboard, and I would recommend paying the extra upcharge for this. And it's not that much noisier or annoying with the clicky keys than a typical laptop keyboard. Well done, Cherry, and thank you Alienware for bringing this to many more laptop offerings this year. Previously, this option was only available on a few select models. The next award would go to the Blade 18. It's a nice keyboard, mechanical keys, but shallow and low-key travel will make it a mixed bag. If you can adjust and don't mind using a MacBook Pro butterfly-style keyboard, then it's a win. The Strix G18 lags behind with a total lack of mechanical keyboard offering in their flagship laptop. Now, I know that the Strix Scar series is actually the flagship, but even that device does not come equipped with a mechanical keyboard this year. What happened, ASUS? RGB. I'm not a huge fan of RGB, but I've got to give it to Razer. Their RGB implementation is classy. The M18 R1 is not bad with its stadium lighting on the back of the device and the RGB backlit keyboard. It's still tasteful, but definitely a gamer vibe. The ASUS is a disco show of RGB with the wraparound light strip. If that's your thing, then yay. RAM. With these devices being flagship, I'm shocked to see that base offerings are still only being offered with 16 gigs of RAM. As I've demonstrated in many gameplay videos, that's insufficient for the very near future, and definitely if you plan on owning these devices for a few years to come. 32 gigabytes should be the minimum offerings in this category. And sadly, to add salt to that wound, the M18 and the ASUS are offering slower 4800 MHz DDR5 kits in their units. What gives, Alienware and ASUS? I tip my hat to you, Razer, for offering 5600 MHz DDR5 in your Blade 18, even though it may only be 16 gigabytes. Of course, you can upgrade the RAM yourself, but at the prices that are being charged for these devices, I would prefer to receive a well-equipped device and just be able to use it. Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. All three laptops are equipped with the latest Wi-Fi 6E offerings based on the Intel AX211 with Bluetooth 5.3. All devices offer superb throughput and Wi-Fi download and upload speeds. And the latest Bluetooth 5.3 connectivity is fantastic, featuring the new Bluetooth Low Energy standard, which should prolong battery life in true wireless headphones and the like. No complaints in this department. Sound. And speaking of sound, the Blade 18 with its THX-tuned 6-speaker setup wins this round by a long shot. It gets loud, it's clear, and easily drowns out the fan noise. The best of the three devices by far. The M18 R1 is a far second place, with the Strix G18 taking last place with just okay sounding speakers. Thermals. I've purposely left thermals for much later in this overview because I believe this year, finally, we're seeing thermals being under control for a great gaming and daily use experience. In fact, they're so good that you can easily switch these to battery optimized modes for a cool and quiet operation on your lap without issue. And during heavy use, such as gaming, the GPU sits in the 60 to 70 Celsius range on all three devices, while the CPU fluctuates between 70 to 80 Celsius. The M18R1 is the exception to this rule, as Alienware tends to push power to the max to give you max performance. And in this device, often the CPU is seen hitting 90 degrees Celsius, but that's accompanied by very high clock rates and very good performance. The Blade 18 and M18R1 offer large vapor chambers with highly efficient cooling fans and solutions. Even the Strix G18 uses full width heatsink with larger and more heat pipes to keep things in check. Fan noise. Of course, heat management is important, and all three devices are well equipped with fans to exhaust and dissipate it. The Blade 18 and Strix G18 are both equipped with 3 cooling fans, while the M18 has 4. The Blade 18 is also the loudest of the group with screaming fans at max fan speeds. The Strix G18 fares a bit better, and the M18R1 is the clear winner with well-tuned and optimized fans that don't pierce your ears and are able to move massive amounts of air. Truly impressive offering from all camp this year despite the nitpicking. Control Center softwares. Each of these devices offers its own manufacturer's proprietary flavor of control software. The Blade 18 provides Razer Synapse, the Strix G18 its Armory Crate, and M18R1's Alienware Command Center. To sum it up, I'm not a fan of any of these softwares. In my opinion, they are bloatware. I really wish the options that are provided in these can be moved to the BIOS and a hotkey for switching between fan profiles that can be defined and bound directly there. All of these softwares are very heavy and consume lots of resources with dozens of running processes on your system. Furthermore, they're confusing, unintuitive, and just a mess. Still, the fact that we have to use these softwares, I would prefer the Blade's Razer Synapse and the Alienware Command Center. I must give credit to Alienware for doing a complete overhaul of their command center and building it from scratch. It is far more usable, less buggy, although there are still a few quirks to be ironed out, and generally well laid out and visually appealing. Armory Crate from ASUS is just confusing, visually the least appealing, and with multiple options stuffed in random places, a bit of a mess to discover. Razer Synapse offers the cleanest and simplest but limited experience in controlling your device. For an enthusiast device, that is a complete mismatch with their targeted audience in my opinion. Device tuning. All three devices offer undervolting and overclocking. On the Strix G18 and the M18R1, you can do this easily with the Armory Crate and Alienware Command Center, being able to apply an undervolt to the CPU, set thermal limits, and adjust fan speeds. In addition, you can also overclock the GPU by adjusting the power level, the core clock, and the memory clocks. For the Strix G18, you can also apply an undervolt directly in the BIOS. The M18R1 only allows this via the Alienware Command Center as far as I'm aware. The Blade 18 offers limited and I would say oversimplified set of options. Being able to switch between CPU power modes called low, medium, high, and boost is a clear miss for their target audience. And without any labels or numbers to quantify each of these, you are left guessing. All of the Control Center softwares do allow setting max fan modes, though the M18R1 and Strix G18 offer fine-grained fan curve control right from within the software. Razer, please give us this level of control on these very expensive and premium enthusiast laptops. Joy. Before I share pricing information, I want to cover which device I've enjoyed using the most. This is of course subjective, but based on the factors above my personal workflow, whether it be for work, for gaming, there's one device that stands out for me. It's going to be the M18R1, hands down. I do have a gripe as to why Alienware didn't offer the same 240Hz display as Razer and ASUS, but perhaps they'll be adding an offering later in this year. It's still early days yet with 18-inch laptops, and this video is covering offerings in early 2023. Pricing. And now for the juicy part that I'm sure many of you want to know, pricing. And I'm sure you know, getting the latest and greatest tech is never cheap, and that certainly holds true this year. These devices are all ranging in the $3,000 to $4,000 plus Canadian range. The Strix G18 is the cheapest of the three at $3,000 Canadian dollars. The M18 R1 is $4,100 and well equipped. The Blade 18 offers the worst value overall at $4,000. The Razer tax is real, considering it's only equipped with 16 GB of RAM and an RTX 4060. By comparison, the RTX 4080 equipped offering from ASUS is also sitting at around $4,000 Canadian. And in my opinion, the value that you're getting with the M18 R1 is superb. Plus, Alienware offers a vast amount of configurations as you can build to order your device with the exact configurations you want. Thank you Alienware for doing this. That is a significant advantage as you can range your M18 R1 all the way from $26.99 at the base offering with an i7-13700HX and with an RTX 4050, all the way up to an i9-13900HX with an RTX 4090. I really wish more manufacturers would adopt this approach. Alienware's pricing is not half bad either. Their RTX 4090 offering on the M18 R1 will set you back around $4,500 Canadian. That's still $500 cheaper than the ASUS Strix G18, which in my opinion has lower build quality, poorer port selection and positioning, as I've mentioned, lacks any mechanical keyboard offering, and has very much a gamer vibe. The one downside to this, however, is long lead times as the device has to be manufactured to spec and then shipped. From order to delivery, I was a little over 3 weeks getting my M18 R1 device. Razer's pricing, on the other hand, is simply absurd. Their RTX 4080 equipped Blade 18 is $5,200 Canadian. And if you want their best, the RTX 4090 model will set you back a sweet $6,100. What to look forward to? And last but not least, it is certainly not a complete picture of the 18-inch category yet for 2023. I've got my eye out for the Acer Predator Helios 18 that was announced at CES 2023 with mini LED displays. This device isn't available for purchase on the market just yet, and I'll certainly be looking to get my hands on it to compare to the ones I've already tested. In addition, as I'm sure you've noticed, there is no mention of AMD, whether on the CPU side or GPU. AMD is late to the party yet again, as AMD equipped offerings will start to surface this month and well into the summer months. I'll particularly be interested to test the Alienware M18 R1 with an all AMD Advantage Edition laptop. That's a laptop with an AMD CPU and an AMD GPU. As AMD has some cool tech that works in synergy with each other and offers some advantages over an Intel Nvidia setup, it will be interesting to see if they've polished their offering further. In the past years, there have been driver issues, growing pains as AMD tried to integrate CPU and GPU to deliver the best optimized experience. Will 2023 be any different? We'll have to wait and see. Missing from the party. In addition, Gigabyte, MSI, HP, and Lenovo have failed to bring any 18-inch options to the market in 2023. I don't know what's happening over there, but you guys need to get in gear and realize what consumers want. Perhaps they're waiting for AMD CPUs and GPUs or the Raptor Lake refresh later this year to realize that yes, 18-inch laptops are a viable product category before jumping in. I really do hope that these manufacturers offer 18-inch laptops, as that will help to drive competition, bring prices down, and create more choice for consumers. Deals watch. If you're looking to buy one of these devices but don't have a sense of urgency, I would say hold out until the summer sales and back to school season starts. That will segue right into the holiday season and Black Friday deals. If you can't wait that long, keep an eye out for open box or refurbished deals on these laptops if they're available in your region. Often, they're just laptops that someone bought, tried, disliked, and returned back to the retailer. They're usually tested, often certified, before being put back on sale for hundreds of dollars less. Alternatively, you may also want to wait and see the AMD offerings appear on the market, as the competition may help to drive down prices. Value proposition. If we talk about being able to game at an excellent and in-between resolution between 1080p and 4K, then Quad HD takes the cake. And these beautiful Quad HD Plus displays, coupled with cores galore on the Intel 13th generation Raptor Lake CPUs combined with the RTX 4000 series, can deliver some amazing gameplay experiences. I've been looking and testing gaming laptops since the 10 series gaming laptops dropped on the scene. To say that those were hot, loud, and poor implementations overall would be an understatement. But gaming laptops have made great strides since then, and I would say today you can have a very enjoyable experience. But gaming laptops have made great strides since then, and I would say today you can have a very enjoyable gaming experience with heat and noise in check if you're willing to adjust a few sliders and knobs in graphics settings. And to boot, these laptops are true desktop replacement laptops, and even better, with the improved thermals, vapor chambers, better fans, venting, etc. Manufacturers have been able to fine-tune the formula for a very balanced experience with exceptional performance. Ultimately, you'll need to pick one of these up and try for yourself. I'm sure you won't be disappointed. Winner. And finally, to close off, if you're in the market for an 18-inch desktop replacement gaming and performance laptop, there's one clear winner in my opinion. Considering the option to configure it as you like, the overall build quality, the Cherry MX mechanical keyboard, and the delivery on the max TGP promises with the flagship GPU, it would be the Alienware m18 R1. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And thanks for watching. See you in the next one.